Hi everyone, it's Mrs. King, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about how we can possibly find the main idea of a paragraph or a passage or something that we're reading. What's it mainly about? How do I do that? How do I figure that out? Today I've got a passage that I'm going to read to you that's called Living Off the Land. And I'm going to read it out loud, and we're going to see if we can figure out what is it mostly talking about in a sentence that could possibly be the main idea sentence. And then we're going to also find some details that kind of help explain the main idea or that tell more about the main idea. So you listen as I read and see if you can figure it out as I go, and then we'll discuss it. Living off the land. Native Americans of the plains ate buffalo meat. They made clothing from the skin. They used the bones to make tools and weapons. They used the horns for cups and spoons. They wasted no part of the buffalo. Even the cleaned out stomach was used to carry water, and the tail served as a whip or fly swatter. Hunting buffalo was important for these Native Americans. When I think about this whole paragraph, I think, what is it mainly about? Well, it's a lot about the buffalo. So I need to think, that's my what, my who or my what. A buffalo, the buffalo. And what did they do? Or what are they talking about the buffalo that makes this important? Well, they're talking a lot about how the parts of the buffalo were important for these Native Americans who lived on the plains. So a lot of times, another thing we can think about is a lot of times the main idea sentence is at the very beginning of the paragraph. But when I read that, Native Americans of the plains ate buffalo meat, is it all about eating buffalo meat? No, it isn't. They go on and they talk about other ways of using the buffalo. So another place to look for the main idea sentence is at the very end of the paragraph. And when I come down and I read the very last sentence, hunting buffalo was important for these Native Americans. There's my main idea. What are we talking about? The buffalo. What's what about the buffalo? Why it was important. Then they go in and they talk about all the different details as to why the buffalo was important. They support it with those details. What's one way that the buffalo was important? Well, they ate the buffalo meat. They made clothing from the skin. They used the bones to make tools and weapons. The horns for cups and spoons. Okay, even they said the stomach of the buffalo, was used to carry water. And the tail was like a fly swatter or a whip. So all of those details talk about why the hunting buffalo was important. So that's the main idea in yellow, and then the details support it or prove that it's true. Now I'm going to read to you the next paragraph, and we'll see if we can do the same thing. What is it all about? And then some details that help support it. Native Americans of the eastern woodlands used the natural resources of the surrounding forests. The Iroquois lived in what is now New York State. They built homes called longhouses. First, they bent young trees into round shapes. Then they made a roof of bark and dried grass, or thatch. A small hole let out the smoke from the cooking fires. So I need to think, who is this paragraph about? Well, it's about the Iroquois, or Native Americans. So one of the tribes is called the Iroquois. And what are they talking about? Well, they're talking about building homes, but the whole paragraph isn't about that. And they're talking about bending the branches and trees, but again, that's not all about that. And then they go on to talk about making the roof and letting us this smoke out of the small hole in the top of the home. All of those things have to do with how they use what's around them to build their homes. If I look at that very first sentence, that says Native Americans of the eastern woodlands use the natural resources of the surrounding forests. I can say that that's my main idea. The rest of the paragraph talks about how they use those natural resources. One of the ways that they use one of the details that explains that is that they built their homes called longhouses. They bent the trees into shapes to help make their homes. They made the roof of bark and grass. Those are natural resources. And then they also made sure that there was a small hole to let the smoke out when they made fires to cook their food. All of those ideas or details talk about how they used these resources from the forest to help them survive and help them to build their homes. So those are the blue is the details. Okay? Hopefully that helped you. Hopefully next time you are finding the main idea and details, that gives you some strategies to use. Have a good day.